Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video I'm going to be going over a day one recap of the World Championship. We're going to talk about the Classic Instructed metagame, the Living Legend metagame, as well as what day one standings look like at the top. And then I'm also going to point out a couple cool games, kind of just link where they were so you can go watch them yourself as they pertain to this channel, because we saw some Katsu gameplay and some Huntsman gameplay. So hopefully you enjoy this content. Really quick, I just want to say thank y'all for continuing to support me this kind of topsy-turvy month in terms of me and what I want to do with content, and thinking about stopping doing content on the game and then kind of changing my perspective. I just really appreciate y'all's patience with it, and the videos are going to keep coming. I'm really happy with where I'm at. I've really kind of readjusted my perspective and my attitude, and I'm super excited to make content. The only thing that would stop making content on this channel is if I got a job in the TCG space, which would obviously be amazing. But other than that, the videos are going to keep coming. Please enjoy them, and let me know what you want to see moving forward. But I'll bring up the day one CC metagame. As you can see here, Syndra, Verdance, and Gravy Bones all at the top. We kind of expected that, right? We were kind of, they've been at the top, especially Verdance and Syndra have been at the top two the entire ProQuest season. No one saw any different, right? But who was going to come into this meta game and kind of try to shake things up if you're not playing the go-to meta deck, so to speak, right? We saw a lot of Prism. Prism was slowly climbing in popularity, it seemed, just in community sentiment at the tail end of ProQuest season, so no surprise there, right? We don't have a lot of high popper decks other than, KO's right there, right? And then you have a little bit of Florian and Verdance can be, but it's not as crazy. She has a pretty good matchup in the other top parts of the meta. And then you also had Kasai, who got a lot of notoriety at the very end of ProQuest season. A lot of top players. I think Shoma Yamamura was on Kasai, and a couple other really big name players were on there, so on and so forth. The biggest surprise for me, two big surprises for me. One, Arachne Marionette. I know the hero had gotten more popular, I think, as ProQuest season went on. At least that's what I saw in public discords and stuff like that. But I wasn't expecting it to be that high. I thought it would be kind of where Kano and Jarl is at with 7 and 6. I did not expect to be 16 Marionette. The other surprise that I love seeing was 6 Arachne Huntsman. Huntsman has a very interesting spot in this metagame. It's really weird because, and this is just me, I am one Huntsman player. Other people may see it differently, and that's completely fine. But Syndra is rough. It can be rough if you don't find the disruption you need. You really have to get timely disruption, but it's a winnable matchup, especially if you get good hunter or hunted banishes. Verdance is very much a knowledge check matchup. If they know how to combo you, it's very difficult. You have to kind of get lucky on the banishes and really banish their combo pieces and try to deck them out. Really pitch stack your surgicals and your choruses and stuff like that. But it's a winnable matchup, especially if they're not seasoned into it. Gravy Bones is the hardest of the top three, right? But then after that, Prism has gotten a lot better, at least in my opinion. I don't know. Everyone has their opinion on, good Prism players, great Prism players, and good Huntsman players, great Huntsman players, but I have not had much issue with it. Kasai is very close. All the way down that line, the only super bad matchup that I never want to see most of the time is probably Gravy Bones is the worst, but everything else you have game into. So I'm happy to see 6 Huntsmen. I'm just surprised that there is that many. The other thing that was really interesting that I didn't think about until I saw the day one standings at the end, and we'll talk about that here in a second, is Kano. Everyone always has the running joke that Kanos can't draft, right? And going into this World Championship, you think Kano would be super... I mean, I haven't studied the matchup, win-loss ratio, but there's no draft. And yes, it's a joke, but it's also not a joke. Now Kanos can literally play Kano and CC and Kano and LL and just play the deck that they one trick their whole entire time and do well at it. So I'm actually surprised that no one was talking about Kano more as we were going into this format. But this is what we had. Pretty good. We had one Fi, Ellie Bird was doing really well. She was doing really well on that. One Max was really cool to see. One Riptide. I love seeing people bring passion picks even to the World Championship. And I don't mean passion picks in a negative way. You know what I mean? Just more of off meta picks that they just love. Maybe it's the hero that got them their ticket to the World Championship and they just want to keep playing it. So that was what the CC metagame looked like. Then we had the LL metagame. this was the interesting one. We had the bans that a lot of people said didn't really do much. They did hurt Briar and Chain a little bit, but it really didn't hurt Viserai with the most recent banning and unbannings and stuff like that. So Viserai was still a top deck. Starvo really came back into the format a little bit with the recent bans and unbannings. And then Marlin is kind of like the talk of the town with Living Legend. It's so funny because it's literally a CC deck with Cash-In and Ardor, essentially, for the most part. But the deck can hum when it's doing its thing, and we saw that on stream doing some really, really cool things. So Marlin's kind of like the breakout deck, so to speak, in Living Legend. I was also happy to see a lot of Dromai. I was not expecting 22 Dromai. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. But knowing how fast the format is right now, like she can go fast with Tome of the Imperial Flame and stuff like that, but I just wasn't expecting that many. And then Briar is one that did fall off with some of the recent bans, but I wasn't expecting her to fall off that much. I mean, only 7 Briar is very interesting, but I guess it kind of falls back to if you're going to play a Runeblade, Viserai and Chain are just better, right? So that's kind of how that went. We also had 1 Verdance, which was cool. Only 1 Lexi. I was wishing we'd see more Lexi. Just people, try to give the deck a chance. 10 Kanos makes complete sense, but everything else falls about in line for the most part. If there's any super big surprises, let me know. But that's kind of how it turned out. And then this is how the day 1 metagame shook out. I only screenshot the first 20 because after that it kind of gets muddied. But this is where it was. Only 1 undefeated player, Jacob Allen, on Verdance for CC and on Starvo for Living Legend. We also have Cody Williams, Runaways player, playing KO, Armed and Dangerous, and Zen. And then we have Naib, longtime Ninja player in general, playing Syndra and then Starvo. So it kind of goes down from there. As you can see, like the top 10 is pretty well diverse, at least. I mean, this is only day 1. We'll see how things kind of squeeze as we get to the top, right? Because people are going to clutch up. But, I mean, in the top 10 people for CC specifically, you have Verdance, KO, Syndra, Gravy, Kano, Mario, Acilio. So you have 7 different heroes in top 10. And then we also have Victor is 8, Dio is 9, any others, and Florian is 10. So we have 10 heroes in the top 20 for CC. And then for Living Legend, you have like Starvo, Zen, Chain, Kano, New, Viserai, Dio again, and then that's about it. So you have 7 different LL heroes and 10 different CC heroes. That's pretty good overall. And we have some big names here. Cody Williams, Naib, Jacob, Florin is a big name as well. At least ones that I recognize. I say big, like ones that just come off the page and I recognize. Brody Spurlock, Justin, all big players. Lucas Oswald also. Really, really starts to cast at the top. So I'm super excited to see how day 2 goes. I think day 2 is what, 3, or is it 3 or 4? I think it's 4 and 4. It's either 4 and 4 or 3 and 5 of starting with Living Legend and then going to CC. So we'll have to see how that goes. When it comes to certain games, I wanted to bring this up. This is just my full screen monitor on the other side. There's 2 games, and they pertain mostly to this channel, not because I had any influence on it, but because of the heroes that are being played. We had a Katsu play in round 3, which was sick. I won't spoil what happened with that. There was a lot of nerves in that game, you could tell. So be easy on the players. Like, you're on the World Championship and you're playing on stream, and you're playing against one of the best players in the world in Justin. But the Katsu played really well overall. Definitely things you probably could do better or worse, but it was a super fun to just see a Katsu in round 3, 2-0 in the World Championship. Like, that's sick. So that was round 3. Definitely go check that out. I'll link that down below. I'll link the main stream down below. And then round 4. This game was amazing, and I'm gonna spoil it a little bit because I just want to talk about it. If you don't want to know what happened, stop the video right here. This is kind of like your spoiler warning. And you can go watch it and then come back if you want to discuss it, or you can just, do your own thing. But this was Lucas Oswald, very talented player on Verdance, and Jacob Lance, who ended the day. Jacob ended up the day 4-1 in CC on Arachne Huntsman, which is nuts. I think that's what day 2 is, then 3 LL and 5 CC. 4-1 CC on Arachne Huntsman, and then unfortunately kind of got unlucky in LL a little bit, went 0-3, which they talked about in the Discord, just, it didn't go their way. But Jacob went 4-1 on Huntsman, which is insane. Played against Lucas. This game, so I'm going to oversimplify the Verdance Huntsman matchup. But basically, if it's a competent Verdance, you have to assume they're on combo. If they're not on combo, you just run AB3 and you deck them. Like, you run coercive tendencies and your surgicals, and you pitch stack them, and then you play your hunter or hunted. You get rid of their evergreens, get rid of their blooms if you can, so they can't cycle stuff back in, and then you just fatigue them. You just do, especially if you're packing any Oasis or any Life Gain. But if you know that they are on combo, which Lucas was, as you can see right here, you basically have to get a little lucky. You have to be able to find the banishes. You have to banish their healing pots. You have to banish their rampant growths if you can. Try to find their combo pieces in order to have a chance. Early in the game, I don't know exactly where it was, so I can't pinpoint it. Jacob ends up, I think it was on a coercive. It was either on a coercive or a random banish. He was able to banish a healing pot right off the bat. So he got rid of one healing pot, and he was also able to banish a rampant growth. Huge, right? Then later on in the game, he actually ended up off a hunter or hunted, banishing all 3 Heartbeat of Candleholds. So halfway through the game, Lucas basically doesn't have combo anymore. Like he might have, I think Lucas was only running 2 healing pots, and Jacob took one of them, and then he took a rampant growth. So Lucas has 1 healing pot and 2 rampant growth. So Lucas has to pivot to a different type of win condition, which is evergreen and cycling threats back in deck. Both players played the game great. Like, you could armchair quarterback all day on who did what good what. I think the Arachne Jacob, and maybe Jacob would agree or disagree with this, I think he was playing a little bit too conservative in the mid game. There was a point like around this time frame where like it's 44-27, or maybe even a little bit longer in the game. It was like around, that's when there are 2 cards. It was around like this time frame where they both were probably in the teens in terms of cards, and what I think Jacob needed to do was just kind of push damage and push like big on hits instead of over blocking, because it got to a point where at the very end of the game where Jacob's on 2 cards and Lucas is on like 5, right? The crazy thing about this game is at this point in the game, as you can see, this is actually the turn it happened. Jacob plays a Persuasive Prognosis into a Justin Nick that was not blocked by Lucas. Lucas has his Evergreen in hand. This is his only win condition. Lucas had to, in order to keep his win condition from, Persuasive not getting rid of it with Nick, he had to pitch to Stormstriders and Stormstriders Jacob when Jacob was at 23 life, just to keep his red Evergreen to try to win the game. Then, like a couple turns later, you see, oh no. Let's see if I can get there. If I can't, it's fine. But Jacob plays a 1-power double trouble. As you can see, the life total is 41-20. Lucas has these cards in hand, and then his Evergreen is right here. Jacob ends up playing a coercive tendency to snipe the Evergreen. Basically, all Lucas has left in deck at that point is like, I think it was an Arcane Twinning. It was like cards that couldn't kill Jacob. He literally did not have damage in the deck to beat Jacob. Now, there's only 12 minutes left in the game, and in order for Jacob to win with 2 cards, he's literally going to have to dagger Lucas 20 times, and Lucas was kind enough and, gracious enough to concede, because if you think about it common sense-wise, he literally can't win, and Jacob can win if he keeps daggering. So that's how the game went. It was absolutely unbelievable. Both players had, like, good plays, bad plays. It was just they had to play super fast. Really nutty game, but Jacob's ability to banish the early healing pot, the early rampant growth, and then hit a hunter or hunted banish with all 3 Heartbeat of Candleholds, he got rid of Lucas's ability to combo just off how the deck naturally plays. So it was super fun to watch. Insane match, and even chat was like, "Oh, Lucas has it. Oh, Jacob has it. Oh no, Lucas won now. He can't lose with Evergreen." And then Jacob did it. And it was like back and forth. Super awesome. I won't geek out about it too much more. But definitely go give that one a watch. That was insane. I didn't watch anymore after that. I had to go eat. But there were some other good matches. Another one that was really fun to watch was Ellie Bird's match in LL against Jimmy Chain versus Aurora. This match went to literally 1 life to 3 life. I won't say who won or lost, but that was a super fun match to watch. I definitely would say to watch that one as well. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens going into day 2. We have a pretty diverse meta so far, and I hope it stays this way. I hope we get a top 8 where we have like 6 heroes. That would be sick. I don't want to see like 3 Syndra and 2 Verdants and then 1 or 2 others. We might not. It'd be really cool to see this double Kano, Noah Hicks, Kano and CC, and Kano and LL end up getting there. We'll have to see. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Did you enjoy day 1? What are you excited to see for day 2? At the time you're watching this, day 2 is about to start here in like an hour. definitely I'll be in chat with y'all. And excited to watch it. But thank y'all so much for watching this. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Give me feedback. Let me know what videos you want to see, and I'll keep making them. I really appreciate y'all's support and y'all's patience. Thank y'all so much, and y'all have a good rest of your night.